Did Gregory freeze up again? I think he did. Hey,
Oh,
ooh boy, he leaned it to the left hard too.
I'm trying to get this picture.
Hey, hey, Rich, while we go ahead and work on getting in, why don't you go ahead and introduce us,
Yo,
the
what
regulars in?
greetings. Oh, y'all better be glad the TV, not the TV, the screen left because I was about to screenshot that. But of course, you all already saw him down in the sunken place, and we're praying now that he comes up, he rises. Oh, there he is.
What's
There,
up, good people? Hey,
there he
y'all. What's
is.
up?
I was
What's
about to
up?
take
What's up?
over.
Hey, listen, pardon my delay, Floor family. We thank you so much for joining us tonight and being dedicated. Hey, even though we're starting a little bit later than normal, we are still going to deliver what we always do every week, and that is the fire. Last week was such a great conversation, guys. We're coming back to do round two of Men Don't Just Want Sex, They Need Sex. But we also want to talk about what do the women need also. So tonight, women need to feel safe. They need to feel secure. And I couldn't do it by myself. But before I introduce my family next to me, I want you guys to like, share, and subscribe this podcast. Tell everybody that you know that the floor is yours is on. And we want everybody to chime into this conversation because we're going to step on some toes tonight. I'm sure we will because that's what we like to do. We like to get the conversation going here every week to bring real and relevant conversations to move the community forward, to get us thinking, and most of all, to get us talking. I couldn't do it by myself. I got my family with me, people. Hey, the one, the only, Gerard Flex, the producer, is in the house. Gerard, say what's up to the floor family tonight.
Hey, good evening, people. Thanks for joining us, and I'm glad to have my sister from another mister here with us tonight. Gregory, with a topic so emotionally charged as this one. I hate that we didn't have that female voice last week, but guess
Right.
what?
Yeah.
She here, and I know she's
The,
gonna bring the fire like she always do.
the queen herself, the first
Yeah.
lady of the Floor is Yours podcast, is in the house with the hat. So, Miss Amisha IC, could you please say hello to the lovely people?
Hello, beautiful people of the world, all the radiant flowers in the gardens out there.
I love it.
We are definitely not out here thinking about Adam speaking up tonight, but we're not going to let the serpent deceive us either, because we just not going to be biting off any type of fruit, in this topic that we're going to be talking about. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. Welcome, 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 and it is a pleasure and a joy to be with my brothers on tonight.
For
And we're
sure.
so glad to have you too. You're already bringing it. Listen, last week, Gerard and I, we had a great conversation about, of course, the topic men just don't want sex, but they need sex, talking about the emotional and sexual needs of men. But this week, we love our women. We especially love our Black women. So we wanted to include the women in this discussion as well and see how we can just blend the two audiences. There always seems to be some friction when it comes to intimacy in our community. And so we just want to see if we can get the conversation going so that men can know exactly what women want, women can know exactly what men want. And so we can just love on each other. That's the purpose of the conversation. But you know what? Last week, Amisha, we did not have you here. And so here's, the question that most men want to know about women. Why is this so hard for you women to satisfy our sexual needs? We have one big need, and we only ask for that one thing.
Talking about put people on the spot, man. Come on, brother. I
You
love
you
I'm
said
I'm asking for other people, not me. I'm asking for
no, no,
everyone
no, no,
else.
but you asked it, so you didn't get other people. Now you didn't say Johnny wanted to know. You said we, because you said that mean you in there too. So you said, why is it that we can't? Y'all just have one.
One major need, and why is it a struggle for women to satisfy that one need?
That it ain't even that it's a one major need, right? That one major
Hmm.
need. Y'all got a lot of needs, right? A lot
Hmm.
of them. And if
Hmm.
that is the most major need of it, I'm just gonna be real with you. You suckers would be deprived of nourishment of the punani. I mean,
it.
if it's just the need. Um, why do you need it? And why do we deprive? If we deprive, let me tell you, let me go for me. If there is I'm gonna cut off the flow of anything, it's because something my garden has not been tended to. And I'm not talking about sexually. I'm talking about there's a part that you haven't tapped into to show up for me in areas that allow me to freely want to let the rivers of life flow to make sure
Hmm.
your water hose is all right.
Mm,
Mhm.
I'm trying to make it real sensible for the flow. Because you got
yeah,
everything
right,
has to flow. But if you put a knot in that thing,
right.
it's gonna back up on you. And the only way you know to release it, you got to figure out how to get the knot out. You men have to know how to sit with their woman to know what has turned off the faucet of intimacy.
But here's the question, though. I mean, I hate to interrupt you. Is that
You didn't
why
you ain't
is it?
interrupting, just say excuse me.
Pardon me,
Or pardon
excuse
me.
me.
There we go. Okay.
Sorry, sis. Why is it that when it comes to intimacy, the man has to um, cater to the woman's emotional needs first? Why don't we just? I'm asking for the other men, not myself and Gerard.
Yeah.
Why can't we just get hooked up? Because we had a real hard day. But if I had a real hard day, I got a lot of tension, and I come home, I still got to set the stage first for you before you come and take care of me.
Well, the way I look at it, the Bible said, "Love me like Christ loved the church." And I'm sure when he was overwhelmed with a lot of things, he was a little bit gentle in how he wanted it. And even though you've been full of whatever out there, you think that you should be able to come home and release that all on me, but I'm supposed to come in a loving way. And I'm sure if the man is coming, he's not coming with an affection, he's coming with an agenda. And that's to make himself get what he need at that moment, just so that he can be okay. Is that fair to your partner?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I want to ask the audience that. Put that in the
I
comments.
asked that. You didn't give me an answer though.
Is that fair? So I really think that in a long-term loving marriage, that occasionally you will just service your partner just because. Because you see that need, you see that itch that needs to be scratched. And if I'm the only person that can service that need for you, then there will be times, not to say it has to happen all the time, but there will be occasions where you just need this itch scratched. Let me take care of it for you without there
Hmm.
being any ramp up time, without there being any setting of the stage. I see you have a need. Let's just take care of that.
So now you're giving a different scenario. So
Okay.
you gave one that came with a lot of stress that came with it. And I'm just supposed to
hmm
be like, you stressed out, you want to let me give it to you. The other
hmm
one is that, you know what, I feel that my baby needs some loving today. That's a
hmm
whole nother ball game. At that point, I feel like you just go in your room and you're gonna probably do a role play. Women that know how to do that, there'll be a different essence that you come with. So when you're dealing with two different scenarios, you're gonna get two different outcomes. But the
hmm
first one is not going to get anything out of me. It's gonna make me just probably say, let me run you some bath water, see if you can de-stress for the day, and then you maybe need to, just rest your mind. But it definitely doesn't make me want to present sex as an option to say, that's not of service. That's just let me give him what he need right now because it's gonna make him better. But how does that include me in this needing each other to serve each other? Because we're not serving one another.
So I was going to ask, even in that scenario, is that dehumanizing to women? Do you?
For me, it would be. I don't want to just be looked as an object. That's just like when we do things like that, then I have to lay up under you, and you don't really know that I'm in the room because the need is for you right now. It's not between the intimacy between the two.
Mm.
And to be in that
hmm
position, you might well
hmm
just feel like, well, what am I here for? And that's not a good feeling. And that's when walls begin to build up.
Mm.
hmm
So if it's going to
hmm
be spontaneous, or you want, like you said, there may be times that you just want to, hey, I can roll with that. I mean, let me find some fake rose. I put one in my hair and one in my teeth. What a trench coat at. I mean, I'm just saying, drink this hydrated water so my skin can glow. Hey, because in covenant, we have, now let me say this, we have made sex such a bad thing when we get married, but when we out there not married, we the coldest thing popping and locking, dropping all in, man breaking his back. But we have taken away of that it is an honorable thing in covenant, and you don't
Right.
have to pull back from it. But you also have to realize, don't weaponize me by talking about, oh, your body don't belong to you. This my tail. That ain't what I want to say. This my A, and this, I'm just saying. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't have to
Yeah.
do anything, especially if there is not a service of putting the feelings of the nurturing part of what is needed.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
So yeah,
question
that was
and
good,
great
Gregory. You
response.
came for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think, last week we talked about a lot of things, and a couple of things popped up about the needs of men. And I'm just going to say, for conversation's sake, that one of the biggest things that men wish women knew
Hmm.
is that we want to be desired as well. We want to be sought after. We want to be, looked at like we're the hottest thing on the planet too. Like, we want a little bit of that as well.
Hmm.
What do you think, Amisha? Women wish men understood more or knew when it came to intimacy.
That it's not just a physical touch.
Hmm.
It's the way you communicate, how you sit, laughter with one another. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
when you can get to be, and I'm not gonna even say best friends, but when you can be friends from a level to be able to talk and to communicate, find out what my mind, enter into my mind, and then know that my heart is ministry.
yeah,
My heart is ministry. And that I'm
yeah,
here to be of service, a helpmate to who I'm with. And if when men would allow women in to be more of a helpmate of what she's called to be, let me tell you something. That go a long way. And a woman will turn on the button, baby. Like you say on the air, it'll say on the air, do not disturb. Don't interrupt. We in here together. Then also, there's also some men don't take into consideration the sex appeal, because you don't
hmm,
have to just be the cutest thing, but there's a sex appeal about a man. The way you smell, the way
right,
you dress. If you still got the same 1988 baggy clothes and you done lost this weight and you got this body that you don't want to show off. I mean, not
right,
for other people, but because it's a desire. And I suggest a new pair of pants or an athletic shirt. That's because I'm saying that I want to see you in this because it turns me on. And I think men don't look at it as a compliment. They look as a woman trying to change them.
true, true. Yeah, there is a piece of that as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We also have to acknowledge, though, when it comes to intimacy, we have this spectrum, right? Everybody
Mhm.
is, some people on the far right, some people on the far left, some people are more conservative, some people are more adventurous. And so, as we discuss this tonight, I want to be careful to let people know that, hey, whatever you feel is honorable and respectful to yourself, then go do it. Have your fun. And so what you're hearing tonight are just the expressions of us three, and hopefully the comments bring out more. But Amisha, I think you do make a valid point. So I've heard it said before that a woman's sexual desire increases the more she feels safe, that it's not so much about the six pack or him having the perfect body, as you said, but or even being the most confident man in the room, the smartest man in the room, or whatever it may be. That when she feels safe around him, that he's going to protect her, he's going to nourish her, he cherishes her. Her sex drive just shoots right up. Would you say that to be true, or is that a myth?
Amen. Amen.
Amen, amen, and
Amen.
amen. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what are the ways that men can make their women feel safe so that intimacy is not such a big gap in the couple? How does safety look for a
Because
woman?
I would say safety, but I think to when if men would get more to that being able to be attentive, to
Okay.
tend to, um, because you can feel safe with somebody but still not feel seen,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they're going
Mm-hmm.
to make sure everything is going to be good, around you and making sure these things. But I need you to see all of me. And when you can really sit with a woman and you can value all of her in every capacity, whether she's stronger in some areas than you are, or she may be fragile in some other, it's about, I feel, the way you balance her in the way in who she is. And when you're able to see that and be able to talk with her, it just begins to be, for me, it's just being able to tend to me. And I need to know that if I do have a moment that is just a little bit off, do you see it enough to show up and say, babe, come here, I just want to hold you. And it don't even have to be where we have intimacy as far as sex, but the fact that you took enough time to really put me in your arms, to let me know that you see that I'm hurt, you see that I'm stressed, and all of these different things. All of these things right here add to that. So if men would just be more attentive and just be tend to the woman, because there's a place that needs to be tended to, because we do carry a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You definitely do. And so it's been said that, men, we think in boxes, right?
Hmm.
So as we go about our day, we're able to compartmentalize what happened at work, happened at work, what happened at home, happens at home. Women tend to think in connections. And so if she can have a promotion, she can get her favorite car spot, she got, her favorite coffee, but if she comes home and her child is sick, then she's not happy because everything's woven together for a woman. Men could have a terrible day at work, have a flat tire, but come home and still be ready for sex. A woman can have the same events, but because of all the events, she's not ready for it. And so, as you said, we have to be a bit more connected to the way she sees life more than how we see life, because we can like compartmentalize. I don't care what kid is sick, I still want it. They'll be all right.
Well, then, let me see. And yeah,
Hmm.
Candace, baby, you're free. We're not judgmental here because we once was giving it up and wasn't married either. Okay, you good. That's my look to it. It's something that you said that you said men can go through the day, that everything going on, and then when they get home, they still want it, even if the sick child is there. So once
Yeah.
again, it goes back to the men being attentive, but being aware of what the atmosphere is. And when that atmosphere is a little bit off, if you nurtured it, I promise you, you helping tend to that sick baby, get everything kind of settled, even though it was a bad day. I promise you, you wouldn't have to worry about her, that you wouldn't have to ask for nothing that night. But it's the
Yeah.
lack thereof when you don't show up. Then she like, no, you know what? I had a long day at work. I had some things too. We may have had it in a different span, but we share this responsibility together. And if
Mhm.
we don't collectively handle it, you get to go and take your bath, do everything, and then it's wee hours of the night, and I've got everybody settled dinner, and then you think that you get to tap me. I tell you what, you get some flannel.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Gregory and Amisha, that's part of especially Western culture. There is this hierarchy, if you will, that says that women are supposed to tend to a man regardless of what you need. And some of the scriptures that have been taken out of context, one-liners that are used to shape entire understandings. And that one is that your body is not your own. And it talks about also in scripture on how to not deny yourself, except for if you're, having to deal with some necessary issues, but quickly rekindle. And that stuff is all true, right? But it doesn't take away again from the title of the topic, or the topic of the show is that women need to feel valued and safe.
And not just because I can give you, I can supply this thing that you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because let's go here. Because if this thing is not able to give it to you, something goes and it just can't. It's just you can't get it. How does that change the dynamic of how you gonna keep me safe, see me, value me, and keep me protected?
Yeah. They say
Yeah. If it's real love, it shouldn't change. If it's
But what
real,
I'm saying is
it shouldn't change.
that may be true, but when we're doing our dialoguing together, and you
Mhm.
say men need something, and
Mhm.
if they don't get it, they're just all over the place. But what happens when you can't get it?
Yeah. And that's true.
And
That
that's vice versa with women too. If we
yes.
were going that way, but if you couldn't get it, does that change the dynamic of the posture of your heart towards me? The vows
Mhm.
you took to be there. I mean, you may be saying no, but I'm just saying, what about these situations? Because we can look at it one way, but what if life changes something?
Yeah. Gregory talked about this song, his favorite song, the Prince song, when he talked about it, and I'm paraphrasing it, that when if he was with you and couldn't even see you, that it wouldn't change how he loves you. And that takes away from just the physical need, right? Or just the visual part of it. And it highlights what you talked about, Misha, the need to be in tune with you. And we talk about it as a need often. And let's be honest, men can get frustrated, and we can get, even though they say we're not emotional beings, we get into our emotions and our feelings, and it drives our thoughts and our interactions with you. And it's almost that, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Mhm.
Do she honor you in that way first, or do you make her feel safe and secure first, right? And if you think of it that way, it almost becomes transactional, which is unhealthy in a relationship in the framework of the Christian marriage. And not to get so religious at the point you talked about earlier, loving your wife like Christ loved the church. I think that charge is for men to lead the way. And we say this often on the show, Misha and Gregory, that women reflect the man's leadership. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And I think as any conflict arises, whether it's sexually or any type of intimacy or conversation or whatever, someone has to take the high road. And in those instances, in the Christian marriage framework, the charge is for the man to love his wife like Christ loved the church.
You're absolutely right. In the book of Ephesians, where that scripture is taken from, there are basically two requests that is given to women, and that is to respect her husband and then to consider her body not her own. But for men, there is, I think it's 7 passages where it is laid out where men are to serve their wife their as their own body, as Christ loved the church. And so there's multiple things. So the list of how a man should serve his wife is much longer than the way that a woman is supposed to serve her husband. There's more requirements put on a man to serve. I think, though, Amisha, going back earlier about what if you can't get it, the rub here, or the friction, isn't created. I think most men understand that women are going to want it every night. That's not going to happen. You're not robots. You can't just snap your fingers and you get it when you want it. Like, I think we're okay with that. The issue that most men have is when there is the withholding, when you're using it as a weapon, because I didn't, give you the birthday gift you wanted, or I forgot to take out the trash, or I didn't do the dishes, and then that's reason enough to withhold. And so I think that right there is where we get into this back and forth. Keeping things in the middle. Of course, there are extreme circumstances where a man is negligent in his responsibilities. I totally get that. But if we're right here in the middle and a man just doesn't take out the trash and helps with the dishes that night, is that reason enough to withhold?
I mean, it's never been a reason enough for me. So I'm not in that boat. So I can't attest to what they over there doing in that department. Some women are like that. Now I can't speak, that's because if they're used to getting what they want the way they want, and they use it to get what they want, then that's what they do. They cut it off. That's just never been me.
Yeah.
If you don't take out the trash and I know it need to go, I'm just gonna take it out. The dishes can't sit there forever. It's just some things just I don't want to just fuss about it. Now, if you off and you could have did it, that's another thing. But I'm not gonna be like, boy, I'm not gonna give you this, because it may be I really wish the dishes would have been done, but tonight I just need to turn into a whole nother woman. I need to be Francesca.
Hey, but just think about it. If that's the problem, or if that was the trigger, there's probably some deeper issues. Right. So if someone is ready to withhold or change the whole atmosphere because trash wasn't taken out, is that a pattern? Is that reflective of a pattern of neglect or not showing up that he's been needing to do and he's not doing it? And that may have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, if it's that and it shows up as that, I think there's bigger fish to fry that needs to be addressed. I don't know, audience, what y'all think about that? And I want to hear y'all thoughts on that too. Like, if it's showing up as something that is minute as that, I think there are some other issues at debate there.
The Bible actually says you should only deny yourself for times of fasting and or not mutual consent. So unless it's not mutual consent, or you're devoting yourself to prayer and fasting, biblically there's no reason you're supposed to deny your partner access. But
I don't agree with that.
And is that in the Old Testament?
No, let me tell you why I say that. So there are times where scripture may not expound. At the end of John said that there is so much, and I'm paraphrasing, there's a lot more that could have been recorded, but it would have ran out of time and space. And I'm saying that to say that there's also the Holy Spirit who was sent after Jesus left, after the disciples, who would teach us and guide us in all things. It's not just what went on in those days, but even how to interact with each other in current times. And I say that because you're right, scripture does say that. But I think we probably can, if we took the time to do it, come up with a list of 10 things easily, each separate things that would say that a woman may not feel in the mood. I mean, there's all kind of female challenges, issues, and a number of other things that scripture doesn't explicitly say. But I think the spirit of the scripture allows for that.
Because let's just say, a little birdie told me, maybe not. But I've known where a man because he had to go to church. He didn't want to be intimate with his wife because he didn't want to be unclean. What? I probably would have helped you get the word out. The Holy Spirit would have fell on you if you
Oh,
just
that was you.
just letting it tighten it up for you hit the service. You know what I'm saying? You'll be like, what? It's so you get men that can be under the umbrella of Christ, but then they can use it the wrong way. Because there's nothing that is unclean with that. But then at the end of the day, someone wants you to do the same thing before you go to work, but then they want you to tip drip around and all this before, and then gotta get up and go. I'm just saying. So I can we can use this Bible, and that Bible, it'll be used the wrong way, and it can be a form of manipulation, control. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I
both.
didn't
Yeah,
say that was me, Gerard. You tried to jump that out there like that, so it was you. I heard you.
I agree with you both. You know, the Bible also says to men to love her body as though it's your own, and anything you wouldn't want forced upon you, you should not force upon your wife. So that makes it clear that anything that makes her feel disrespected or not honored or not appreciated should not be done, because you would not want that done to you,
Yeah.
men.
Man.
Yeah, so absolutely, completely.
Hey, so let's go to a commercial break, and after the commercial break, Greg, I know you got a lot of good
I
stuff.
do. I'm saving the best for after. I'm talking about sex after cheating, and how do women respond when the man refuses to give it up to them? How do you feel about
Yeah,
that?
but
What do you
this,
withhold?
What did he say?
I don't know, but listen, just to make sure we keep it also, I like those topics, but keeping with the theme of it, you know, women need to feel safe and secure. I know you got some nuggets on how to achieve that goal in your relationship, because that's paramount, right? I don't care how, you know, healthy I am as a man and what I provide as a man when it comes to, you know, housing and financial support. That part I think is key to the woman being, and it's important, in my opinion, for men to understand that part of it. So I want to make sure we also address that too. So
Okay.
yeah, let's go to commercial break, and we'll come back and continue the discussion.
Hold that thought, y'all.
Uh,
Some view it as a form of empowerment or like a linguistic reappropriation, as some argue that it continues to carry the weight of oppression and should be done away with immediately. How does today's music, namely rap music, play a part in the use of such a derogatory word? We'll talk about that. As we know, rap music has an immense influence.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know, Misha, that's one of my favorite podcast episodes that's out there on Mogul Media for us to tune in and watch. If you're not tuned in and registered or understand what Mogul Media is, go ahead and Google that. There's a host of other episodes out there. I want to make sure that everybody goes and check it out. And that one right there, it's not an old argument. I mean, it's not a new argument. It's one that we've been a part of and participated in, even on the podcast, the use of the word, the N word. And especially in today's time, you know, recently, I don't know if you saw the guy, Chud the Builder, Mr. Dalton Etherly. He was going around and under the guise of free speech, he was using that word and calling black people the N word. And
Oh, I did. I did see it.
so part of that discussion is that people are saying that black people are saying it, they shouldn't be mad if somebody white go out and say it. I don't agree with it, but you know, that use of the N word, it's it's an old argument. I think it never gets old, and it's something that current times has brought back to the forefront, and it's something that we need to have a reckoning around. So,
Absolutely.
Gregory, welcome back, brother.
Well,
Lord, you
thank you.
disappeared on?
Yeah. Hey, and then just to the audience, we see the comments coming in. Keep them coming, and we're going to get to them here in a moment. And we very well appreciate the comments, and we will get to them.
So we're talking about, of course, what does a woman need to feel valued and feel safe in a relationship as regards to intimacy? When we think about the notion of initiating, who initiates the intimacy in a relationship, can a woman feel valued if she is the person that has to initiate, or does she feel more valued when the man initiates? What do you guys think about that? Do you feel
For me,
like
I don't think.
you should be
Go ahead.
chased? Cool. Now, like, do women feel like they should always be the one that's chased, or do they feel like it's okay to let's start this? Let's start it. Let me start it tonight.
It's a equal balance for me.
Hmm.
If your scale way down here and I'm up here, let me bring it down so I can bring you up and we just get there. I just feel like it could be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it really can now. I
Yeah.
mean, it can.
And I agree with that. I think for the most part too, couples vary, and not just couples times vary, right? Sometimes you're not in the mood, and someone can get you in the mood. You could be down and mourning and grieving over something, you know,
Mhm.
and someone tending to you can make all the difference. So I think it takes you knowing your mate, reading your mate,
Mhm.
understanding what they're going through, not just that day, but even in that moment, right?
Right.
And I think you have to observe and take all that into consideration.
Yeah, because that's just like you can make things happen. So say you're on two different work schedules, one working rotating shifts and you on a straight schedule. My thing is if you know you have time to say if for me, if it was like that, then you'd be able to say, "Oh, I got my lunch break." And then I can go over here while he on my lunch break. I know he finna get up and get ready to go for work. Let me go over here and take a little cupcake, a little sandwich, have a little something. And then you guess what? Hey, do what gotta do. Make sure he good, go to work, freshen myself back up and go about my business. It's a way to go back to taking care of business. Let me say that. It's a way to do everything if you're intentional with it. You got to have some intentionality with it. And it can work because if sometimes you're going to cross paths, you're not going to be on the same schedule, you're going to bypass one another. But how do you keep the intimacy there? And that's going to take the work of two people. Y'all don't need him to just always come after me. I need him to know, hey, I see you, I want
Hmm.
you, I desire
Hmm.
you. Matter of
Yeah.
fact,
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy you some cologne. Some of the things I think that you could put on it. I know if you do it, because everybody, I feel like women, they have a certain type of pajamas that they put on when you got to get it.
Yeah.
And if she don't got it on, you probably know you're not gonna get it, or it may be that type of Mother Nature, things like that. But there are signals and signs and things that you can do to let somebody know. If you just put on the right song and I'm in there
Mm-hmm.
cooking dinner or something, and I hear a certain something, you can buy a bottle of wine. We probably don't do wine all the time, but I know if you bought it for dinner
Yeah.
on a Pacific night, that mean we want a little time with one another.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. And Gregory, specifically to your question, Nikki, and appreciate the comment from Nikki. She said, when dating, yes, chase me. She said that's her preference. But if we're married, we can chase each other. So kind
I
of
like
on the
that.
line of what we're saying, it varies based off of which season you're in
Hmm.
and that moment, right? Let y'all
Yeah.
both
Good point.
respond to this one.
Good point, Nikki. Yeah, I like that one. I like that. You
About
mentioned
being
a skit
chased.
about
Yeah.
being chased. Yeah, yeah. Because that is a need, that's a desire of men to feel wanted as well.
When I
Um,
see Chase, I'm running away from you. I'm just don't Nikki, don't pay me no attention, Nikki. Don't chase me
yeah.
because I'm gonna run.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna even stop for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm just no, Nikki. If that's your preference, girl, I'm with you, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when we married, we finna be. I want you to know that there's a desire. There's a desire. I got you. I mean, it might be. I may just go over there, just tap you on your butt cheek. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like there's certain signals, certain things you could do to always let your partner know. And then there are times he'll know that you're not in the mood. It's just when you really take the time to be intentional on learning and knowing your partner. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
so let me ask both of y'all this too, because another important aspect of it is timing, right? And I know
Hmm.
with some people they want to be clean, fresh out the shower. Some is like, okay, it don't have to be. It's a, so. What advice would y'all give people in those instances when a man sometimes, let's be honest, Greg, when the man is in the mood, he's in the mood right then and there. But imagine if she's not in the mood or she's like, hey, I need to go freshen up. That could really damper the mood and miss the moment, right? So what kind of advice do y'all give people that's like, sometimes the timing ain't there?
Yeah. Yeah. I
If
think whatever
I
you can
mean, y'all
tolerate.
married, if you married and y'all
Yeah.
got that relationship, baby, go take the shower together if that's that important. You can bring that in there. We like, you know what? We gonna freshen up together. We gonna make it do what it do in here if that's what need to be done. Because we can just kill a lot of birds at one stone.
Yeah.
hmm
That's just my
hmm
intake on it. And then it's time that you be like, dude, I don't need you to go run to the shower. I just need you to get here.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at Ron. That's what I said. I did say tap the
Yeah.
brakes.
What you think about that, Gregory? Your thought or advice in those instances?
About like with body odor and things, there are some people that they're very sensitive to odors. Some people aren't. It depends on what your tolerance level is and your comfort level is with your person. Because
Man, I ain't
you're
taking
gonna
a
wake up some mornings and you both got morning breath, but the feeling is there, and you know
Just get it from the back. You ain't got to breathe in each other's face.
Man, this is an adult show, and I can appreciate that right there. Right?
sometimes you don't want to quench the spirit, as they say in the scripture.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's way, just turn over. Keep a breath mint on the side of the bed. Sleep with gum in your mouth. Just don't get it in your hair.
Yeah. So let's
Now,
go.
y'all know this is the floor is yours, and we do try to bring some humor to it. I
Yes.
mean, don't take everything serious and want to throw all at us. I mean, just take what you need and apply it.
So let's go through a couple of these comments, and then we'll come back and let Gregory continue the discussion. So
Greg, what you laughing at?
I
So,
just got a lot of things running through my mind right now.
the descriptive right here, man. So Candace is saying, ma'am, she was agreeing with what you were saying.
Hey, Candace.
So appreciate Candace for always tuning in.
Yeah.
She said, true, I would give an example, but I'm not married and I plead the fifth. That's a acknowledgement of some trueness and some realness that everybody's North Star is not the same. Everybody's vantage or viewpoint on this is not the same. We're non-judgmental mental people. And what you say earlier, Misha, there was a time when you weren't saved and you was
No, baby. I'm with you, Candace, baby. and I feel like I could write a book, but I wouldn't put it out there for the people that's in the world. There'd be too much problems for them.
Yeah, what you got, Gregory, on that?
No, I was listening to all of these looking at all these responses. I just want to share, hey, I am a virgin, and my 2 daughters will tell you that.
Amen.
Your 2 daughters will tell you. Well, how they get here?
No, that was the joke.
Oh, I feel like, that's what you keep.
Yeah. It was earlier talking about how important it is to be attentive, and that's important. We said safe and valued. I think that value piece is closely aligned with being attentive, right? You're going to pay attention to something that you value. Right. She said, agreed. Gregory, you want to read this one and then respond to it?
Yeah. It says, agreed. Society now has changed, and those values are not taught or even spoken of. The torch has not been passed down, and the roads are now becoming blurred. That's a very, very good point. I saw an interview today of a celebrity who said that she enjoys watching her husband have sex with other women. And so when you hear that type of messaging out there, it gives sort of like this permission to do things that I think that deteriorate or destroy a relationship, because it has become very commonplace. We don't have those examples of grandparents who've been together forever, mom and dad who have been together forever, and so at the first sign of any difficulty, we run. Like I don't like it. I'm not happy. Well, I'm not happy is not a good enough reason to get a divorce. You go to therapy, you try as hard as you can to fix it. And so when you go on social media, you see these interviews and everybody is just, doing any and everything under the sun. It makes you begin to compare like, well, my marriage is boring because we don't swing and we don't do threesomes and we don't do this and we don't do that. You're right. Those standards of what healthy is not pushed as well as it used to be, and I think that has caused a deterioration of marriages today.
And let me add my 2 cents. And this is not to discredit anything what you're saying. I think sometimes we speak off our vantage point and our perspective. I'm around a lot of healthy relationships, and I know that it is pushed. And then sometimes, that old saying, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Sometimes those things are what Hollywood is pushing, or social media, what people that tend to prefer to live out loud show. The people who have the wonderful marriages that have been successful years, they just don't go out and boast about them. They are there and willing to share in wisdom. My parents just celebrated 41 years of marriage yesterday. You know, happy anniversary.
anniversary.
Happy
But,
anniversary.
yeah,
That's great.
but it's important. I think it's important to say, like, acknowledge that what she's saying is true. There are some people out there that are pushing a different message than what we traditionally have pushed. But that's not to say that those messages wasn't always there. We know they were. They're talked about in scripture and whatnot in other societies. But my point, I think, is that sometimes we make a statement or a belief based off our vantage point, and we might not see that there are plenty of healthy marriages out there that are thriving, not perfect, but they putting forth the effort day in and day out, and they just not as loud, if you will, as some of the those alternative lifestyles. So they just
It does take effort. You do have to seek them out. You're right. They are there, and it's easier to find the noise than it is to
like the way
find
you
nourishment.
I like the way you put that. It's easier to
Noise,
find the
noise.
noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, somebody want to take this one right here from Nikki? Appreciate the comments, y'all. Keep them coming.
Underlining issues for sure. Your marriage is your ministry. Extending grace as you grow with each other is needed and necessary to keep peace and harmony. Living in harmony is a good goal to set as a unit. That's truth and fact. However, harmony at times can get off track. That's just like the music that you play. If a record gets scratched, the harmony is off balance, and you have to be intentional on how you do it. Even in the event that the harmony is disrupted, how do we navigate back to the place of harmony? And so many times we don't really want to look at the fact that harmony just gets disrupted. And if we don't look at that, not that we're looking for it, but we ought to know that it's not going to always be a smooth symphony. And so when something is out of tune, how do we go back and fine tune it to get back to that place? So if we got underlying issues, we need to do that. And marriage is ministry, but I think, however, what I think is the problem, we don't do personal ministry first so that we come together to be whole to minister together.
Come on, Misha.
And if we do that, then the ministry, I believe, comes together. And the harmony definitely will find its rather. But if we don't know how to minister personally with our own hearts, then we're already irregular. And we have done that. We get with people, we get in marriages, and one may be stronger in the personal heart ministry and get with somebody that's not. So we already out of harmony from the beginning, and we get together and we want the harmony to show up.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't, then we have this turbulence. But I do agree with that. Harmony is a good place to be, because with harmony, I looked at the definition. There's respect there. There's all these different things that come with harmony. So it's just not always smooth, because if you lose respect, the harmony's gone. If I don't feel like you love me, the harmony's gone. And if we don't get those things back in proper place, then the harmony never shows back up.
That's good. Gregory, what you got to add to that, brother?
Yeah, I hate to segue from intimacy, which is the topic that we're talking about, but marriage is your ministry, and what you will learn over the course of long-term marriages and relationships is intimacy will always be a desire, but you will find that harmony is really the glue that keeps you together. You can't have sex 24 hours, 7 days a week, right? And so you're going to have times where you two come together as partners and do life together. And it is that harmony that she's speaking of that really just is the battery pack for this ministry. When you two have those gestures and words and facial expressions that you can understand each other from way across the room without saying a word, that's real ministry. That's real connection. And that's what we really should be striving for, even more so than just great sex. We should be striving for great connection.
Man, that's a word right there, brother. That was good, man. Appreciate that. Candy was laughing about them flannels. When you talk about what you go to bed in, it's
Baby, she said they're gonna always comfortable. They kept her comfortable no matter what. Yeah, come on, baby.
Yeah. You know, that's the joke, that you know what mood she in based off of what she go to bed in.
Yes.
So sometimes there's some truth to that. I'm gonna let Gregory, you want to take this one from Nikki?
Yeah. Hygiene is a priority, people. It is okay to tell your partner, hold that thought. Wait a minute. I will be right back. The quickest shower. Ranch off. That's a Misha word. Ranch off.
Ranch. You let me help you say it. It's a ranch off.
Thank you. A bird
You got it.
bath and its own. You just wipe the hot spots and you keep it going.
It's called
Uh,
PTA.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, sometimes the feeling hits when the feeling hits. Yeah.
And I'm willing to help him with his hygiene at that moment. We gonna get in there together. I can
Hmm.
watch his back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Couple more before we get back to Gregory, but it says agreed. Gerard, I had an example of my grandparents and parents, and I think there should be more examples present about what the true essence of love looked like in a relationship and marriage.
Yeah.
And I absolutely agree. We could do a much better job at highlighting those successful marriages. I remember one of my younger cousins posted a few years back, and she talked about seeing all this chaos about marriages and divorces and breakups and domestic violence. She said that she never wanted to get married. And it was
Mm,
just kind of heartbreaking to hear her express that based off of her vantage point. And it
mhm.
shows again that, it's just not what um, represents what's true out there. Been divorced, for 13 years now. But I tell people all the time, some of my best years of my adult life was when I was married, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. And marriage is a beautiful thing to be able to tend to someone tend to you, do life together, honor
Yeah.
each other, all those things at the core of a beautiful relationship. So, yeah, we can do a better job of highlighting those successful relationships. They're not as exciting to talk about, but nonetheless, we can do a better job.
And I'm gonna chime in on that.
Yeah.
That is a very it's a good stamp. I'm gonna put a however to it. Everybody has an experience, even having grandparents that have even because I don't even know my grandparents were gone before I was here. So some people have the advantage. Now there may be other people that have adopted me in that I've probably seen, maybe. But in the event that you don't, how do you navigate that? Because if you've never seen it be given out and you've never seen it be received, there's a trial and error period that though women and men will go through trying to
Yes.
navigate to get to that sweet spot. And
Yeah.
then you can look at some people that you value. There's a couple that I value, and I always give them they shout outs. I'm not saying everything was perfect, but just as he made a post the other day, and he was saying he's glad he's got a partner that he can do so many different things, do things in the community, go to church together, work out together, do like entertainment, family, all those things. So they're two people, but they have so many different boxes that connect them together, not just as husband and wife, but being, just husband and wife, but they're able to be friends and they're able to do things that make them collectively happy together. And then guess what? That make them look like they aging backwards. That would be the Hodges. I'm just going to shout them out there.
Mhm.
Oh,
However,
yes.
like I said, so I'm not saying it's been perfect. They're a blended family. I've watched them navigate that. That's hard within itself, but to be able to stand strong even within that to do it. So when you may not get it from history or from your generation, is there some, like you said, are there people out there? Some people there are. I've also seen it where they've been married all these years, but then behind closed doors they sleep in different bedrooms. So there's different dynamics. We can be good in before the people, but we terrible at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, but going back to healthy examples in front of us, if you're able to have that, I want to stick with that, to see it in your family bloodline. Let me tell you something, baby. That's richness that's wealth,
That's
good
what,
wealth.
yeah. And to Gregory's point, sometimes you got to be intentional and seek those things out too.
Yeah.
Like we seek out our favorite shows, basketball game, or other hobbies.
Yes.
They're out there. You just
Yeah,
need
because just because I didn't see it don't mean I don't want it.
yeah.
Don't desire it.
Yeah. You
Would
got
love
anything
to
to add
have
on that, Gregory?
you hear me?
I think we also overlook that marriage is supposed to be hard. I think we have gotten into this place where we think marriage is supposed to be this happily ever after, and it's going to be a cakewalk. But the purpose of marriage is to be a refining process where now you partner with someone so they can help you to be more Christ-like, because they are able to see you in a capacity that you are not able to. So, for example, I live in this body, has been in this body all my life, but I've never seen my back. But once I'm married, I have a spouse that can see
You
my
ain't
back.
never seen your back?
Meaning,
Ooh.
You know what I mean. I've never seen my back face on. Like I've seen it in the mirror and that kind of thing, but I've never seen it, directly. So meaning that when you get married, you have a partner that's able to see you in places you're not able to see as clearly as you think you do, right? Even though you're living as yourself, you're doing life the way you think you should, they're able to offer you a different perspective. They see you at a different angle. They see you at a different vantage point to say, here's a way that you could be better. Marriage is a refining process, and we should find a partner that is willing to do the work. We all come with baggage. We
Mhm.
all are going to bring our issues. We all are going to bring something, but you know that you found a real one when you unzip that bag and you show them what's in those bags, and they say, that doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
I'm willing to help you with that. That's how you know you found a real one. And that is what marriage is. I'm unzipping my bag. I'm showing you what I'm carrying. And for you to say, that doesn't scare me, and I'm willing to help you with that. That is what marriage is. Is not supposed to, it's not always going to be
Yeah.
fun, but it should be
Yeah,
worth
and
it.
I like that what you said. One time you talked about, and I'm bringing this up just about the word choice of hard. One time you talked about, you stopped saying relationship work.
Work,
It's-
work, and that's
Yeah,
the
I'm
effort.
gonna say not
Yeah.
hard. I'm gonna use the word challenging. It can be challenging, but you're
hmm
right. Because hard, man. Sometimes, yeah, you don't want that all the time. It do
You don't
present
want hard. Yeah.
challenges for you, though. It's not just like you said, going to be a cakewalk. So, but good message from you both. Hey, so now, Greg, we got about 10 minutes. So I know you had a couple other topics you want to get to before we move on.
I do. I do. I'm always interested when it comes to sex and recovering from sex because, we're going to have these high moments and low moments within our marriage at times. So, speaking about how a woman feels valued, she should feel appreciated, which is what we're talking about tonight. Intimacy after a betrayal, intimacy after infidelity. How do we recover from that? First off, for a lot of women, I do know that that's a deal breaker. So we're like, so I know a lot of women are already like, well, I'm not working through that. Y'all can, the streets can have them, right? But there are a lot of people that do recover from infidelity. What is a man's responsibility, Amisha, to help guide, support his wife, the woman that he's betrayed, back to that sense of unity again? He's completely remorseful, hate that he did it. What's his responsibility now of unifying with his woman
His
again?
actions.
Mm,
I mean, it's just
hmm
one word. I
Tell
don't
me
even
more.
think you need to it's just his actions. He has to set the foundation and the atonement for that. He has to reestablish what he broke. So his actions and his character will be the defining factor of that.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
me, I've never
Um,
been I've never been cheated on in marriage. However, before getting married, how about that? And then you have to ask questions because if I'm holding myself and preserving, my question just came out and was like, well, how is she feeling right now that you want to choose to go ahead and marry me? See, that's how you flip questions because what was the D value to do it? I don't care if you say that, oh, we was just on a temporary, because me and the say that they broke up and it ain't been 30 days, but you may just be having some time and space. And then you'll come back with, oh, we wasn't together and you felt like it was right. Hmm. Well, my desire was to be with you, wasn't it? If we had hard times, that I could jump over here to the left real fast because of the fact of we had a little turbulence. But still given the benefit of the doubt because of the Christian dynamics, you go ahead and you go forth with it. You do the forgiveness call because they've probably had some emotional issues and some traumas and all of these different things. And they are remorseful and you can go with that proceeding into the marriage. There was nothing there, but there was the beforehand, and probably could have just walked away then. But hey, you worked on it, you forgive, and you go on. So his character and his actions had to have shown something different. Is that good for you?
yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good. And I don't think that it is bad for the man to carry a certain percentage of guilt. I don't think he should live in a jail for the rest of his life for this, but just a reminder of to remind himself, I almost lost her once. I never want to allow that to happen again. So let me make sure I'm operating on the straight and narrow. Carrying a little bit of guilt could probably keep him operating, hopefully, with integrity. Hopefully.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. I think a couple things too to also consider that you can't force it. You know, this comment right here from Tiffany, she says patience
And
and
understand.
understanding. You know, a lot of times you're going to be in uncharted territory, uncharted waters. You know, we're a very reactive society, so sometimes you don't put those safeguards in place until after the offense has occurred.
Mhm.
So when you're reacting, and especially the one who committed the offense, they're gonna want to achieve forgiveness as quickly as possible, which is understandable, right? When you carry the guilt, the shame that comes with that level of betrayal. But you know, that patience and understanding, we can't. Um, I think you got to make sure that you're operating under that, and that understanding is it's going to be time. It's going to take time for her, right? But at the same time, I think other part is important to know, like when you're aware and conscious that you need the same level of grace that other people need, even though it might not be the same situation, that's a level of self-awareness that's golden, and it helps people be more willing to share it and express it. But with that being said, I think that you got to know who you are and know what you're capable of. And if you're going to forgive, like it's not a partial forgiveness. It's not a kind of forgive you, but I'm going to have my good eye on you the rest of our life. Like, you know, all that you got to understand too. If you get back in a relationship and that trust has been broken to a point that it's not going to be healthy, do you even want to stay there? And that's
Mhm.
some things I think people need to take into account. To think that, hey, it's going to be like it never ever happened, which is not always the case. So just some other considerations I think we got to take into account.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, one last question for
Mhm.
you, Amisha. So, men, we have to take these ego hits when the woman says no to us. Um, but does it hurt a woman's ego? Do you think it hurts a woman's ego just as much when men refuse to have sex, when like it does with us? Like, does that do anything to a woman's psyche? You think if a man says, "Not tonight, babe. I'm not in the mood."
Oh yeah, it did something to me. I mean, I can't speak
Yeah.
about other women because, of course, I try not to put everybody in the same boat with me because if some women may not be one care one way or the other. Yeah, it did. It was like it was a form of rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And if you deal with that
Yeah.
as a little girl with certain things, and then you getting it from your husband, you be like, what? Like, I tell you, and now that's when what let me say, I will call it retaliation. That's when you come back like, oh, you gonna probably want some at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
guess what?
Yeah.
What's my friend name over there? Candy. Flannel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it can be a form of rejection that when your mate is like, no, or whatever. Or you really just like, oh, trying to turn them on it, but they so tired, child, and they don't over there snoring and don't went to sleep.
I was about to say, does it matter why? Not to just, of course, if you just put it that way, like, why are you rejecting me? But what if they're dealing with something?
Well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
However, communicate that. Are you, baby? I'm not in the mood, but don't be, if I'm over there and then you just pushing your hand like, no, no, stuff like that. No,
Gregory laughing.
Yeah.
probably because
Yeah.
I say, go on.
Yeah, there was this couple I worked with where the man refused sex with his wife one night, and for the remainder of their marriage, she never initiated, and they were married for multiple years after that. But that one time he said no, she never initiated sex ever again. They were married for I think 8, 9 more years after that. She never once did
I
it.
wonder, was she dealing with something, from her past that made
It
rejection?
was ego. It was ego. Yeah. She said she said it hurt her feelings, and she said she was never going to allow that to happen again.
Mm,
Yeah. Wow, I
Hmm.
wouldn't want to be married to her.
but
Yeah. That's probably going to show up in other ways other than in the bedroom, right? If she carrying
It's
either,
petty. Yeah,
right?
it's petty. It's immature. Yeah, you take your toys and you go home and you don't want to play. Yeah, it's immature to behave that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So we got a few more comments right here. We're going to jump to before we wrap up the show. I see you want to take this one from Nikki. Appreciate Nikki. She's showing up and being very engaging. We appreciate you.
Yes,
Yes.
Nikki. So that is a battlefield to overcome, even if he shows up different. But will you truly be able to stand on ultimate forgiveness, not ever bringing it back up if they
Mm,
ate late
mhm.
when your mind, wait a minute, back up if they ate late.
If they are late, meaning they come home late.
Oh, bring it back up if they're late. Will your mind wander? The partner will need to show up with triple accountability. Yeah, for me, mine wasn't through the marriage. So mine was before. I didn't have to deal with it within the marriage. But even with that, I didn't throw it back up. I listened. I made a choice and a decision. And I never threw it back up like, you did. Never. Because if I chose to move forward with it, it wasn't something I was going to hold over his head. So I will agree.
That's an important distinction. If you choose to move forward,
Mm-hmm.
the goal is to not hold that over his head, but that doesn't take away accountability or responsibility for him to rebuild trust either.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
It's not like a light switch. It's like, hey, okay, well, let's make this work. Light switch on.
Right.
Live happily ever after. What do you think, Gregory?
Yeah, I think you can forgive, but you'll never forget. And so it could be years later and he does something that's questionable. And you're like, well, were you being really honest with me when you said this? Or you begin to have these doubts in your mind tend to go to worst case scenario. And,
Hmm.
and, and so it's really, really honest to be honest with you. Really important to be honest with yourself of what you can handle, what you're willing to accept. And if this is something you can't get over, then I would advise you to get therapy and then find ways to communicate with your spouse. Hey, I may need you to have triple accountability, not just for 3 months, maybe 3 years, or maybe 10 years. I'm gonna need you to, text me when you're leaving work and if you're gonna go to the drug get some gas, I'm gonna need you to text me then because this is what makes me feel
Yeah.
secure. Yeah, it takes
And
as long as it
I
takes.
think that level of insecurity that brought about not victim blaming at all, but you got to be real with yourself. If it's going to take that level of checking in, I'm not saying that it can't work. That's going to be between them to decide if they want to go that route. But if I got to check in, I'm leaving the gas station. I'm 10 minutes from home. Hey, I'm gonna
Hmm.
stop and go to the dollar store for real. That's not forgiveness, and I think that's part of our conundrum is like truly understanding what forgiveness is and what it looks like. Right? It's not a
Well,
forgiveness. Uh-huh.
offering transparency is a big part of healing that wound
Yes,
too.
but
And
it
yeah,
doesn't trump trust. Remember, I tell people all the time, trust is not a feeling. Trust is a decision that we make if we're going to be in this relationship where we grow. Now, if I committed an offense, while I'm growing and building trust, it's also for her to grow in that area too and strengthen, whatever muscle that is to help soften that blow and take on what it takes for us to rekindle and rebuild. Again, trust is not a feeling. We could talk about the comfort level of that trust. But if I make a decision to trust my child when she go out with the car for the weekend after she got her license, that's a decision that I made. Again, we talked about what she needs to be out there to be a safe driver, to make sure she's honoring the rules, of the highway and all that. But again, the decision to trust her out there, it was one that I make. Again, we can talk about the comfort level, but now take that to the confines of a relationship. You're right, transparency is important. But if it's to the point to where it's so insecure, like I got to check in every 5 minutes, and if not, now I'm under the microscope again. I think it's worth having the conversation on if you should continue that and not. And it's going to take probably some outside help to talk about it because a hurt soul, and rightfully so. I mean, when you're making decisions like that, it's going to almost always be one-sided. Like I need to make sure that my heart is protecting it. And let's be honest, it don't take 5 minutes to cheat if you want to. So if I'm doing anything that's off or don't look right or don't show up like according to the rules, then what? Are we back at square one again? That's what I'm saying. I think you got to really consider if that happens, like you got to learn to trust again and make that decision to do it and not look at it as a feeling. Yeah. Agreed, Gerard. Self-awareness is important in forgiveness. That's what we were talking about earlier. You got to know, what you're capable of and what you're willing to do.
Yeah, you do have to know your capacity, and if this is something you can't accept, then you should walk away. No need to keep yourself in a prison or the other person as well.
Or that other person, yeah.
Yeah, because if it come back up, child, I gave you a Misha. Misha about to show up.
Yeah. Yeah, she said yes. It's a form of rejection when when the man says no. Okay.
Yeah.
And Nikki said I wouldn't be able to stay in the marriage after that. I refuse to. So yeah, to do a play-by-play. Yeah, that's
For some people, many people, that's a deal breaker. But there's also a lot of times when people have overcome it and actually got stronger afterwards too.
No, I think she's talking about when you got to go. Oh, I'm at the grocery store. Oh, I'm getting gas. I'll be home at 10.
Oh, I got you. Gotcha. Yeah.
Turn your phone on. Answer it. By the why did it take so long for you? Oh, it's showing that you was on a call. Who you on the phone with? Let me see your phone bill. You see what I'm saying? Like that level of insecurity, it's going to be like a wildfire, and it's going to spread to other areas of the life. And at some point, you got to say, is this even worth trying to?
Yeah, let me smell your neck. Hygiene is important.
Yeah, Gregory, we'll let you take this, and then I'm gonna let you wrap it up with some parting thoughts.
Sure. I would forgive him, but move on. Cheating says a lot about a person's character. Having integrity sets the tone. Well said, Nikki. Again, if this is something that you feel like you've dishonored yourself by offering forgiveness and staying in the relationship, then you should move on, because you are not going to be happy and you're not going to be able to show up as you should for your partner. You're just a walking dead person, because there's no opportunity to recover from it, because that ghost is always going to haunt you. It's best to part ways at that time. That is biblical grounds for ending a marriage, and so you're still within good standing with everybody if you choose to walk away after infidelity. But I just, as someone who helps couples and seen it happen before, also would want to suggest not just to run without effort, without saying, okay, you did this thing that's always been a deal breaker for me, I'm out. I would suggest at least doing a couple of sessions with a therapist to find out the who, the when, the who, the what, the when, the where, and the how of why this occurred, and is there a possibility for recovery? But at the end of the day, you do have to be honest with yourself. If this is something you can't live with, you must move on.
I like to use the word capacity, and I think that's important.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right. Capacity.
Yeah. So Greg, we'll let you wrap up the discussion and punt it to Misha for her final word.
I will. You know what? As we talk about this topic about a woman feeling safe and valued, I challenge every man to love your woman as though God himself handed him to you, because he did. She does not belong to you. She belongs to God. You're a steward over her for such a short period of time. And how well you love her is how you tell God thank you for her. And so it should be your mission. It should be your desire every day to love her so well that when you get to heaven, God will say, well, our daughters, as a father of a daughter, our daughters are the most precious prize that we have in life. And for God to give you one of his daughters, he is offering you one of his greatest gifts. You should cherish her. You should respect her. You should love her in such a way that when God sees you, when you see God in heaven, he will say, I gave her to the right man. That's my word. Amisha,
what
you got for us?
Hold on, man. We can't just punt without giving your props on that. Bro, that was heavy, man. That was good, man. Come on, brother. Yeah, that was a word right there. Thank you for that, man. The audience thinks the same.
Okay. Where them people that saying that? Now I'm just playing no Gregory. That because you know we are the daughters, you know, of King, you know. So what y'all need me to do?
Man, it's your love note.
I
Close.
mean, my thing is, if it was about women and all this and value, y'all should have been the one giving love notes tonight. But however, because you guys need assistance and I'm a helpmate at all times, I'm here. So with this, so this will be a nugget to the men. Now, for me, moving forward, I want men to realize that they carry seeds too, right? And I'm not talking about seeds to just bring forth children. I need to know that women need to know that they have men that carry seeds, that if he know how to throw the seed out there, that he can build a kingdom with it. Hmm? Yeah, seeds into kingdom minded things that you should be able to be in leadership of, to lead into God and to show up for the woman that you have. Not only that, I feel that men need to realize that women want men that can pray over them, but also war with them in prayer. See, there's a different type of love that you want in different things like that. And then to really understand that it is about serving each other, not just getting your specific needs met, that we serve each other. And when we serve each other, that means when we have a fire, like a dinner, we gonna ask what the entree gonna be. We gonna what kind of salad, the dressing, all of those different things. And then we set the table in the atonement and we put the fine china down, we put the candles on. You are now in a serving position, right? And so if we keep those things at the forefront, I believe men, if they tap into the most intimate part of the woman, that she's not necessarily always looking for the provision and the protection. She needs to know how well we are when we are together and how you're going to take the time to handle me like like an expensive teacup. Okay, so I don't want to just be a trophy that you put on the shelf to say, oh, she look good and she can cook, she tend to this, she tend to that. I need to know what is it that I draw from her that is sustainable for me without it being a physical touch of sex, but what she pours into me just by the way she speaks and all these things, which in tune makes me have a better place to be able to be intimate with her. And so that's when the cup will overflow. So I just feel that if you guys would learn to fill up the love tank just right, I feel like it would just overflow without a little bit of hesitation. And that just means being a little bit more vulnerable, transparent. And if some things that are needed and you desire them, I feel like you can ask for what you really want from your woman, but you got to be able to sit and talk about it. Or if there's a time that it might not just be the right time, I feel like if you're like, baby, it's the way you say it, the tone in which you say it. Tone brings about a lot of things. If it's an assertive tone, you make you draw back. I don't feel certain. But if there is a place of where I'm going to tend to you because I know that you're delicate, then there's a different response. So I just feel like men need to get before the Lord and ask him, why did he say that they were commanded to love? Why were the instructions given to the man to be? Because clearly he knew that there was something that the man didn't possess, but he wanted them to know how to do it. Or to learn how. And if that means that there is a little bit of turbulence, let's say this, a little bit of turbulence that comes with it, that's going to make the plane go up and down. How do you navigate on getting it straight again? Because now you got to put in some work too. Okay. And so I'm just going to go there. I'm just going to say, take the time to probably go out and buy you a teacup or some nice crystal or just one wine glass. And I want to see how many times you can put it off in the sink with the right detergent, the right pressure for that glass not to break. Can you tend to it enough to make sure that it can be sustainable? I just want to know if you could do it for about 6 weeks. If you can, I think you're on the way to seeing something that you're going to be able to do in a relationship. So that's not going to be your average watch, your car, things like that. This is delicate. And I need to know how you're going to tend to this, on how you got to handle it, how you got to place it down. You can't just throw this thing around. You can't just let it sit up over there and not have the right, suds in it. Because you want to hear a certain sound when you hit that glass. And when you hit it just right, I promise you, there's some vibrations. The harmony shows up, okay?
When you hit it just right.
That's all I got.
I like that analogy.
That's all I got to say for the night,
Hey, did you plan it that way?
I did not.
You hit it just right.
I did not. I did not. That's what the Holy Ghost do with me, I heard. He had me showing out.
Yeah, and just one quick word for me. One way that a man can make a woman feel valued, Misha, you and I talked about that earlier, is for him to be in alignment with his purpose.
Yes.
And what do I mean by that? I think a man that is in alignment with his purpose is less chaotic. He's
Yes.
more structured, and he's not bringing her in to his just mess, right?
Mm.
And I think that's a simple concept for us to think about when you get a man, you're ready to take on a mate, is to make sure that he's in alignment with his
Yeah.
purpose,
That's
and
good.
she's not coming into just a bunch of mess and chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, simple.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Man, I've enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, I see you set up, your skin glowing. You look like you got to work.
It's always a pleasure every week to sit and to have these conversations with you and to the audience. Thank you so much for watching. We love the comments. Keep bringing the comments even after the show. As Amisha, Gerard, and myself, we tend to sneak back into those comments, and you just may get a response from us as well. So you want to keep the comments coming. Well, no matter when you watch it, the show, if you watched it tonight, you watch it next week, you watch it next year, please comment, and we may just surprise you with our own response too. We thank you so much.
Before
Thank
we
you
go,
so much for
we
watching.
just got one more promo. We got an upswing coming up powerful. You know, we're in this political season right here. And if y'all follow me on Facebook, you know I ain't short of controversy or telling my opinion and my views on some stuff. You know, one of the things that we're experiencing a lot here in the Black community is infighting. And it's not typical, you know, when you think about other communities, especially our community, who have been traditionally helpful and supportive of each other. You know, we're there for us, we're trustworthiness. So when these things happen where people stab us in the back, you know, for their own advancement, it hits differently in our community, you know. And even with the splintering that's going on right now, you know, you still get almost 80% of the vote, more than 80% of the vote that goes one way to the candidate that they feel is most supportive to the Black community as a whole. So this documentary here that we're working on here at the Floor is Yours podcast, it's called The Making of a Coon. And if you think it's provocative and emotionally grabbing, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to tug at the heart and really show the level of discord and disdain and betrayal that happens with these kind of people who have achieved the highest levels of success, but seem like they forgot where they came from. And it's not just those people. You know, it's talked about the documentary is about power, betrayal, and complicity. That complicity part is just as important. It's people that sit back and be quiet, even though you're not doing anything specifically yourself, but you're allowing it to happen through silence right here. You know, Dr. King said this, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, evil prevails because good men do nothing. That's complicity. So I'm just saying that this documentary that we're working on, I'm working with Tamika, with Mogul, is going to be powerful. It's going to be thought-provoking. It's going to be in your face, and it's going to call some people out. Not by name necessarily, but, you know, if you follow me on my page, you know, I got a lot of test cases on my own friend list, and they interact with me often. That gives me real-time information and material to talk about. So this is going to be, in my opinion, I'm biased towards me, of course, but I think it's going to be a powerful documentary that really shows us where we are today and how times have changed in this arena where people don't even feel shame about their betrayal. You know, so look forward to it. It'll be coming out a lot of information in the coming weeks and months, and it'll drop here in the next 3 or 4 months. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm real proud about this work right here. But The Making of a Coon is personal, so look for more information about it.
I'm excited about that. Gerard, just for people who don't know, could you define coon?
Oh man, yeah. So coon is, and I'm gonna keep it light because that information is coming. But that character of Black people is evolved. It was made before by white people and you know, slavery, and especially in Jim Crow, to describe a Black person just in the most derogatory terms. But it's evolved now, especially in the Black community, to show those Black people who are putting on a show at our expense for the dominant race, right? And it's really highlighting these people who, if you see the that lead coon is the making of it. So you see it transforming. You see the black guy in the back, and he's transforming as he gains power and influence until that the front character that's in the Supreme Court robe. I think we all know who that represents right here, right? Clarence Thomas. But he has made all the progress, taking advantage of programs like affirmative action, DEI protections, and now that he got his, he is the point person that they're using to dismantle those very programs that he benefited from. So the coon character, again, is evolved, but it's today largely represents those Black people who are putting on the show unapologetically, unashamedly for white people at our expense. So that's it.
Yeah, we still got a lot of work to do. No matter how far we've gone, we still got a lot of work to do, and hopefully, I don't know. It's a challenging conversation if we ever will find the unity that we had, that our parents and grandparents had. I don't know about that one. I don't know. Because now we're in different spaces and different places now.
Yeah, we're gonna do our part. Man.
Yeah. Wow, this has been a great show. I've loved it.
It has been a great show. I'm glad I was able to grace you guys on tonight and to
you know what, we
bring out
wouldn't
the
want
best
it
in
any
you
other way.
too. I bring out the best in you too, and it just makes my heart smile.
You do that. There's no exaggeration.
Yeah, we really appreciate you, Queen. We do. And who we also appreciate is everybody that watches every single week. So thank you so much. We love you, Floor family, and we hope that we continually will bless you guys with all of these conversations. Be here next week again for another powerful and exciting conversation. I'm sure we're going to bring the heat always, as we always do. And so, hey, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, tell everybody, their mama, their cousin, your daddy, your sister, your brother, and your pet dog, that the Floor is Yours podcast every Thursday. Tell everybody. But guys, we love you. Keep the comments coming. And until next time, peace, love, hair grease. We out.
Need another, this one here really do it for you. Baby,